Hello and welcome back to RideyBikes. Today we are going to rebuild the creepy clutch. At the end of the summer last year, I was sitting at a red light, looking really impatient because my clutch is pulled in, I'm in gear, kind of creeping forward. That's a little bit odd. Must be the adjuster, I reckon. The next day, I checked the adjuster, checked the fluid level. It's about a third full. Fluid was nice and clear. Topped it up, dialed it out a little bit so I could do it with my two fingers and it would be touching on my other two fingers. Job was a good one. 4 months later, 3 days ago, I found myself in a situation where I've got literally nothing better to do. So I think to myself, right, okay, I'm gonna recheck the clutch, see what's going on. Popped open the fluid, and it's that morning after a night out in Dublin question. Why is it black? Maybe this fancy pants green baby oil turns black when it's time to change it? Don't be stupid, bleed the clutch. So I opened it up, and all this in here is just so black. So I followed this process like 10 or 15 times until this tube was a bit more like a 1950s American voting station. So once there was no black to be seen, topped it up fairly full, gave it a bit of a pump, and that's when I saw it. Not sure if you can make this out. Pump, pump, pump. With each little pump, these tiny little bubbles start coming up out of here, and it got me thinking. When I was bleeding it and getting all the black out, there was no air coming out, it was just black. So I'm sure there's not meant to be these little bubbles popping up. Where are they coming from? And that's when I heard it. Let me see if I can turn the microphone around so you can hear it. It's just that squelching. But there's no air in the line, so it kind of led me to one potential thing that could be wrong. 2 days ago, I rebuilt the master cylinder on the brakes. When I opened it up, it was actually quite a simple little mechanism. And when I looked online at the parts fiche, I discovered that the system inside the brake is virtually identical. So I ordered the parts and they arrived today, and today I'm going to rebuild the clutch master cylinder. So I ordered the kit from KTM. It's pretty straightforward. Here's your pistony thing. There's a little rubber seal here, and there's a little rubber seal here, right? There's like a little gasket thing, and this thing here, a little clippy thing. You need a special tool to get in and out. At this point, I've got to say one thing. I'm pretty sure when I pull this thing apart, what's going to be wrong is that there's nothing wrong with this because the clutch works. I do get a little bit of creeping at traffic lights, but I reckon it's this seal here that's knackered. I'm willing to bet there's nothing wrong with this little plastic piston thing. There's nothing wrong with this seal. There's nothing wrong with the spring. I reckon it's just this one little rubber O-ring thing. And what's really annoying is that you can't just buy the rubber O-rings. You have to buy the whole kit. Now this thing, this whole lot here, little rubber boot thing, a little clippy thing, a little, feels like a plastic seal, and this whole stuff here. I reckon this amounts to about maybe 2 or 3 pence or 5 cents worth of parts. It's 32 quid. But really all I want, I reckon, is that rubber seal. Can you buy it? No. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bleed this, I'm gonna pump it through until it's drawing air into the system. And that way I know when I redo the whole thing and I replace the piston and everything, when I start bleeding it again, I will get to a point where I will see air coming out the bottom. I hope. Right, so there's air in the system now. Let's take it apart. Look at that grubbiness. I reckon what's happened is that when I've been off-roading, I think loads of dirt has gotten in here and just knackered the first seal. So it's been pumping air from here and dirt up into here and eventually into the line, I reckon. We'll see. Gross. Very gross. Already, judging by the state of all the grime and dirt in here, making me think that definitely the seal's gone, that little piston thing. That gets replaced. Look at the state of it, it's gross. So even though I'm going to clean up all of this in here when I pull all of the innards out, I'm still going to give it a little clean now because I don't really want any more stuff to get down here. And the less of this grit and grime floating about, the better. I mean, in an ideal world, I'd take the whole thing apart and just wash it. But man's ain't got time for that. Actually, I've got all the time in the world. I'm not doing it. So there's basically Only one specialist tool for this. This thing here, got no idea what type of pliers these are. Basically, you get it in there. It's a real pain, especially with a camera up on you. Oh yeah, remember it's spring loaded. Alright, there it is, covered in grit and grime and all manner of nastiness. Now the little rubber O-ring actually feels, it looks okay, but when you run your finger over it you can feel it's just, yeah, right there. It's really like worn. It must be where all the grubbiness is getting past and getting into everything. I would just replace this and this. Seal here, put it all back together and all nice and clean. But no, I've got to spend 32 quid. Alright, let's give it another bit of a clean. Let's see how bad this is. Oh, pleasingly jelly green, not black. It's not bad. Chicken dinner. I'm gonna go and wash my hands before I put it all back together again. Found the old one. I'll have to keep a spare. Mega grubby. GT85 on there. Give it a bit of a rub down. So gacked up. I'm gonna give it a blast. That's better. Nice. As I understand it, you want to get a little bit of fluid on it before you put it in. You don't want it to be dry. Just needs to slide in nice and smooth, like. Just needs to go in nice and smooth. That spring is clipped on. That spring is hardcore. This is going to be tricky. Yes, I have 4 hands now because this is really hard. Oh, it's so tricky. Go. All right, that was not as easy as the brake. Thank you. Yeah, it's in. All right. Huh? All right, I'll blur them out. So there it is with the clip in place. You can see that it is, well, you probably can't, but I can see that it is fully seating in and around there. For the most part, that is the hard bit. This little bit goes in there. This little piston-y thing will sit in there. But first, I got a really terrible habit for putting things back together too quickly. This needs to sit down in there, nice and snug. That goes in there. That will sit up and over that through there. Bolt goes in. Get your nut out. Get your nut on. Get up. Snug that down. Not gonna overdo it. Get that bolt in. Boom. And now the boring bit. Right, let's do this. Now at this point on the tube, I'm not seeing any little bits of air coming through, but that could equally be the new oil that I put in the other day. So I'm going to keep on going and going and going and going. I'm confident that there is no more air left. I'm pretty sure that's it now. Pretty sure. Time will tell. I'm just going to nearly fill it up, and then I'm going to put the cap on, and then that should be it. See a little bit rimming out through the edges as you tighten it down. Nice and full. Awesome. I have leveled up. Always had cable clutches. I've never had to deal with this before. But after doing the brakes the other day, I figured this can't be that hard. Turns out you do need 2 people. I think the reason that this all happened, all of the off-roading that I do, didn't have one of these. That's supposed to stop all the grit and the grime and stuff from going in. When I ordered it, I thought it would be bigger. As with most things. There we go. I'll probably be better off getting the same one that's on the brake side. Much better. So it's all back together. It does feel actually a lot smoother, but actually just a tiny bit heavier, which is probably a good sign considering it's no longer filled with muck and water and stuff. Maybe it's time for the Oberon slave cylinder, maybe. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already, smash that like and subscribe button. Really helps the channel. If you are curious about the t-shirts, we sell hoodies, baby clothes, phone covers, bed sheets even. Links below. Ride safe.